Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. I'm Princess Abiba Saripaudak from Radyo Pilipinas. Welcome to Balitang Pambansa. Tonight's headlines. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. leads the conduct of government's mega job fair as part of the country's observance of Labor Day. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. underscores the crucial role of workers in nation building as the country observes Labor Day. Government eyes to expand the scope of its 20 peso rice program to help as many Filipinos as possible. On top of the news, assuring them that their clamor for a wage increase and benefits was heard at the highest levels of government and have not fallen on deaf ears, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. gave Filipino workers a message of hope as he speaks at the 123rd Labor Day celebration in Pasay City, where he led the holding of a mega job fair. PTV's Kenneth Paciente has the report.
For almost a year now, Rowena has been jobless. So in order to provide for her child's needs, she decided to take a chance at the job fair in Pasay City.
Ang laking help sa mga gaya ko na gustong makapag-work.
More than 14,000 jobs were offered at the said job fair. The event was led by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. himself. Here, the president emphasized the government's measures for the welfare of Filipino workers. He also recognized workers as the foundation of society and the country's most valuable resource. That is why he said the government is working hard to reward the sacrifices of workers. Among these efforts is the push to strengthen the economy by encouraging investors, which will result in thousands of opportunities. He also pointed out that among the government's initiatives are job fairs that have contributed to a lower unemployment rate.
Dulot ng masiglang ekonomiya, noong nakaraang taon, naabot natin ang pinakamababang unemployment rate sa loob ng 20 taon. 4.3%, pinakamababa sa 20 taon. Patuloy ang pagbuti ng kalagayan ng ating labor market. Nitong Pebrero, bumaba pa sa 3.8% ang unemployment rate natin.
The president also laid out government initiatives to ensure efficient transport for workers by improving the railway transit system in the country. On the issue of wage increases, the president said that the government hears this call from workers, but he said this needs to be studied carefully.
We hear the call of our workers for better wages and assure you that your concerns are being addressed through the regional tripartite wages and productivity boards. The government stands firm in its commitment to protecting and advancing workers' welfare while promoting inclusive economic development. Patuloy na pinag-aaralan ng mga regional tripartite wages and productivity board ang antas na pasahod sa bawat rehiyon. Simula Hunyo ng nakaraang taon, 16 na rehiyon sa Pilipinas ay nakapagpatupad ng dagdag sahod na. Sa kabuuan, 28 wage order na ang naaprubahan.
The president ordered a review of the Continuing Professional Development Act of 2016 to make license renewal easier for professional workers. He also directed the Department of Labor and Employment to conduct monthly job fairs. The job fair was held in 69 locations nationwide with a total of over 255,000 job opportunities. From PTV Manila, Kenneth Paciente, Balitang Pambansa.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. paid tribute to the sacrifices and vital role of Filipino workers during the celebration of Labor Day. In his message, the chief executive stressed that Filipino workers do not only work for their families and personal needs, but also play a crucial part in driving the country's progress. The leader of the land also said that the celebration serves as an opportunity for the government to develop programs that address the needs of every Filipino family, ensure the safety of the workforce, and uphold the rights of all workers. He also vowed to continue projects that aim to foster national growth and prosperity. Meanwhile, the president's cheaper rice or benteng bigas program was conceived during his term for the presidency in the early months of 2022. A Herculean proposition many thought would never see the light of the day, but somehow managed to pull through after 3 years and despite inflationary headwinds and a volatile global market. Our Charms Espina on Aggie Chief Secretary Francisco Chulorel Jr. already looking forward to expand its coverage after its successful launching today in the Queen City of the South.
Lani is just exhausting the supply of rice she bought last week because starting tomorrow, the sale of BBM Rice or Bente Bigas will also be implemented in Metro Manila. This is the 20 peso per kilo rice offered by the administration of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. through the Kadiwa ng Pangulo stores, something Lani will surely line up for.
Sa 1 kilo po, bali, nagbibili po kami minsan 60, tapos 20 po yung 1 kilo po, no? Bali 40 po yung matitipid po namin doon sa 20. Makagaan po yung sa amin. Gaya po namin na gipit din minsan, ganun po.
Today, alongside the Labor Day celebration, President Marcos once again assured that steps are being taken to help Filipinos.
Batid namin ang pagsubok na inyong kinakaharap. Kaya gumagawa kami ng mga hakbang upang maibsan na ang pasanin ng ating mga kababayan, lalo na sa usaping pagkain. Nitong Marso, itinakda natin ang maximum suggested retail price or MSRP ng imported rice sa 45 piso kada kilo lamang. Sisimulan na rin po natin ang programa upang pababain ang presyo ng bigas sa 20 piso sa kada kilo.
According to the Tugon ng Masa survey, marginalized Filipino sectors are already feeling the effects of government's programs. From 60% in November 2024, trust among Class E, the poorest Filipinos in President Marcos's leadership rose to 66%. Satisfaction with his performance in the same group also climbed to 66% from 58%.
Sa Class E, sa pinakamahihirap, sa trust at performance, tumaas ho si Presidente. I think nakatulong talaga dyan yung mga inisyatiba para sa mga mahihirap. Siguro yung mga pro-poor initiatives, no? Yung sa CCT, Pantawid Pamilya, no? Yun, malaking tulong yan. So, nakikita ng mga mahihirap sa ating bansa na meron ginagawa yung gobyerno.
Octa Research believes Marcos's trust and approval ratings may rise even further in the coming months.
More than 50%, close to 60% po ay urgent concern ho yung presyo ng bilihin. Pangalawa, yung trabaho. Pangatlo ho, ito, malaking issue to sa mga kababayan natin, affordable food. Malaki dyan issue sa affordable food, yung presyo ng bigas. Makakatulong ba itong subsidiya sa bigas para sa mga mahihirap? Talagang makakatulong.
Beyond implementing BBM Rice, the Marcos administration will expand the Walang Gutom project in Visayas and Mindanao. It will also continue holding job fairs. Furthermore, government will continue to support farmers through the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund or RCEF, and it will build child development centers to focus on youth education. This is Charms Espina from PTV Manila for Balitang Pambansa.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. called for rule of law and respect for due process to prevail regarding the issuance of a suspension order against Cebu Governor Gwen Garcia by the Office of the Ombudsman. The chief executive says that any action that will affect the mandate of a government official should adhere to the Constitution and the Omnibus Election Code. He added that the governor served well and that until a resolution on the matter is issued, she should still be treated with respect. Meanwhile, the Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, has assured the public that there is no reason to postpone the midterm elections in Negros Island, despite thousands being affected by the recent eruption of Mount Canlaon. According to the poll body, contingency plans are already in place, including the establishment of makeshift polling places and alternative voting centers to accommodate displaced voters currently staying in evacuation sites. The agency added that they are willing to set up polling venues in covered courts or school offices if needed, just to ensure that registered voters in affected areas can cast their ballots. For evacuees who are registered voters, the COMELEC is also exploring two options: transporting them to their original polling places or delivering the ballots directly to their evacuation centers to facilitate voting. Senate President Francis Escudero and House Speaker Martin Romualdez both recognized the contributions of workers as country observes Labor Day. The Senate President says that our labor force helps maintain the sustainability of the business sector and services industry. For his part, the House Speaker assured that they will continue to work to help improve the situation of workers. In fact, the lower house has already passed several laws that are beneficial to the labor sector. Meanwhile, thousands of job seekers flocked to a mega job fair organized by the Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, at a mall in Quezon City in celebration of Labor Day. 11 DMW-accredited recruitment agencies participated in the event, offering nearly 5,000 job opportunities abroad. Most of the vacancies were for skilled workers, healthcare professionals, and those in the hospitality and tourism industries, with destinations including countries in the Middle East, Asia, North America, and Europe. In addition, the job fair, the DMW also conducted a pre-employment orientation seminar and held sessions on anti-illegal recruitment and anti-human trafficking to better inform applicants. According to the agency, more than 2 million overseas Filipino workers were deployed last year, with Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, or UAE, remaining as among the top destinations. In celebration of Labor Day, Quezon City held a job fair where several applicants were hired on the spot. Employers present at the event also shared valuable advice to job seekers on how to improve their chances of landing a job. To help expedite the processing of employment requirements, various government agencies provided on-site services to assist applicants directly at the venue. Meanwhile, the Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE, launched another job fair in Manila, offering over 200,000 employment opportunities nationwide. According to DOLE, around 9,000 jobs were immediately made available by approximately 50 participating companies from various industries. The Department of Agriculture, or DA, has completed the construction of 150 rice processing centers. During the 2025 Sustainable Agricultural Forum, the agency also revealed plans to operationalize its Central Command Center by the third quarter of 2025. According to Agriculture Secretary Francisco Churorel Jr., the Command Center will play a vital role in monitoring and tracking the country's agricultural supply and consolidating production data to guide policy making and ensure food security. Stay tuned for our provincial reports here on Balitang Pambansa.
Sa isa na namang makasaysayang araw ng ating demokrasya, nakaantabay ang buong puwersa ng Integrated State Media para sa Hatol ng Bayan 2025. Ang pinakamalawak, pinakamalaki at pinakakomprehensibong elections coverage sa bansa, ikakasana! Hatid ng pinagsamang lakas ng mga media organization sa ilalim ng Presidential Communications Office, Presidential Broadcast Service, Philippine Information Agency, Philippine News Agency, IBC, at ng inyong Pambansang TV. Masusubaybayan kahit saan sa pamamagitan ng aming multi-platform coverage sa TV, radyo at online. Maglilinaw at magbibigay konteksto sa mga usaping pang-eleksyon. At kasama ng buong sambayanan, masusing magbabantay sa mga pangyayari sa mismong araw ng halalan. Makibahagi, makiisa, Pilipino. Ikaw ang magpapasya. Hatol ng Bayan 2025. PTV Consumer Watch, bantay presyo sa gasolina.
We are back, considered as a promising sign of recovery and growth in the country's gaming and entertainment sector. The state-run Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, or Pagcor, kicked off the year on a strong note, reporting a 23% increase in net income for the first quarter. This and other stories in tonight's Business Wrap from the Philippine News Agency.
In our business news, state-run Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, or Pagcor, has earned 4.2 billion pesos in net income in the first quarter of the year. In a statement, Pagcor said the net income during the period was 23% higher than last year's 3.43 billion pesos. Revenue so far jumped 11.2% to 28 billion pesos from 25.2 billion a year ago. The bulk of its sales came from gaming operations, which contributed 25.52 billion pesos. On the other hand, operating expenses fell by 15.54% to 6.21 billion pesos from 7.36 billion pesos last year. Pagcor's total contributions to nation building reached 18.9 billion pesos in the first quarter, higher than last year's 15.56 billion. Pagcor Chair and Chief Executive Officer Alejandro Tenco said they remain committed to responsible governance and fiscal discipline, allowing them to contribute further to nation building. Meanwhile, fuel companies have rolled back prices of liquefied petroleum gas, or LPG, for the third consecutive month. In separate advisories, Petron, Regasco, and Soleil branded LPG slashed LPG prices by 1 peso per kilogram starting midnight of May 1. This adjustment brings down the cost of a regular 11-kilogram household LPG cylinder to 11 pesos. Data from the Department of Energy showed that an 11-kilogram LPG tank is priced at 1,085 pesos. That's the latest business news from the Philippine News Agency. This is Wilnard Barcelona for Balitang Pambansa.
In Tacloban, Pintacasi for landscape restoration is leading the charge to restore biodiversity and combat climate change by promoting native tree planting. Supported by the City Environmental and Natural Resources Office, the initiative aims to replace monoculture forests with diverse, sustainable ecosystem. Alet Reyes from Philippine Information Agency Leyte tells us more.
In an effort to restore biodiversity and combat climate change, improve ecosystem health, and promote sustainable livelihoods, private group Pintacasi for Landscape Restoration Incorporated, based in Tacloban City, pushes for the planting of native tree species which have more environmental benefits and do not disrupt the ecological balance. This push for native tree planting is strongly supported by the City Environment and Natural Resources Office, saying it's high time for people to change their mindsets in the type of trees being planted to reverse the effects of green deserts or the monoculture forests that looks lush but are actually ecologically sterile.
Dato mga aquifers, hadto nga time, damon tubig, sustainably pantuan. Pero yan ang tungod naton in pananom, hadto nga bisan ako, may dako sala. Kay I promoted that civilina, kay di kita maaram. So lately naman lang kami nga nakabaro nga may dahiyan negative effect to our biodiversity and our ecology.
These native tree species, which often highly valued for their ecological cultural, and economic significance include the Philippine national tree Nara, the termite-resistant Mulave, the tall Dipterocarp tree Bagtikan used for lumber, the extremely hard and durable wood Yakal, the reddish wood Tangile used in construction, and the mystical Balete which provides food and shelter for wildlife. Planting of native tree species is part of the Forest for Life program of the Environment Department, which aims to plant 5 million native trees by 2028. The Pintakasi Group, which locally means Bayanihan, is pushing this reforestation effort to help build a greener, more resilient future for the next generation, one native tree at a time.
From the Philippine Information Agency, Leyte, Ulat Reyes, Balitang Pambansa.
The Department of Tourism or DOT distributed essential kits and free accident insurance coverage to 16 local tour guides in Panay Town to support the sector as they carry out their day-to-day duties. Alex Lumake of Philippine Information Agency copies fills us more.
Tourism Secretary Cristina Garcia Frasco led the distribution of essential kits and free accident insurance coverage worth 50,000 Junior's directive to further develop the tourism industry in the country. According to the Secretary, community tour guides sacrificed every day in the performance of their duties so that tourism destinations in the province would continue to imprint good memories for visitors and tourists.
To Secretary Cristina Garcia Fresco, thank you so much for this tour guides kit. Salamat po sa pagpapahalaga sa aming mga frontliners. Mabuhay ang turismo. Love the Philippines!
Each kit included a hat, an electronic lapel microphone, sunblock, bamboo tumbler, bamboo sunglasses, and a journal, practical and eco-friendly items that have been carefully selected to support the tour guides as they carry out their day-to-day duties. Frasco, together with Assistant Chief Operating Officer Gregory Ollier of the Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority, also led the groundbreaking and memorandum of agreement signing for a 12 million pesos project in Panay Town, which the local government won in the Tourism Champions Challenge. She was also a guest at the Kapistahan 2025 celebration of the province. From the Philippine Information Agency copies, Alex Lumake for Balitang Pambansa.
For our weather update, more areas in the country will be experiencing hotter temperatures tomorrow, May 2, with the heat index reaching as high as 45 degrees Celsius. According to Pagasa, Quezon Province is expected to reach a 45 degrees Celsius heat index, while Zambales and Batangas may experience up to 44 degrees Celsius heat index. A heat index of 43 degrees Celsius will be experienced in Pangasinan, Olongapo City, Bulacan, Cavite, Quezon, Palawan, and Masbate. Other areas that will experience a 42 degrees Celsius heat index include Ilocos Sur, Ilocos Norte, Cagayan, Isabela, Aurora, Nueva Ecija, Tarlac, Quezon, Oriental Mindoro, Camarines Norte, Albay, Camarines Sur, and Agusan del Norte. Heat cramps and heat exhaustion are likely when the heat index reaches the danger level, followed by a heat stroke with continued exposure. Jumu'ah Mubarak, and that concludes a rundown of the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news and information from all across the nation. This is your trusted news source, always ready to inform and serve the Filipino people. Catch Balitang Pambansa again tomorrow at 7 a.m., 12 noon, 6 p.m., and 9:30 p.m. for more updates and developments. From Radyo Pilipinas, I'm Princess Abiba Saripaudak, and this is your Balitang Pambansa.